Hello and welcome to the May 2024 wrap-up. With me in the studio is Nick Huston. Hey, Nick.
Howdy.
And from Atlanta, TK Edmondson. Hey, TK.
Greetings. How's everyone doing?
Oh, greetings.
Good. I like it. Well, let's jump right into it. We got some big sales from Zaxcom.
Yeah, so usually we don't start out with a sale, but, at Gotham Sound, we sell, rent, and service sound equipment, and this is a big deal because Zaxcom, does not offer sales all that often, and this is a big sale. So Zaxcom has a couple of different bundle options. They're all available on our website, but basically, if you're going to get some kind of combination of Nova and receiver modules or Nova receiver modules and ZMT4s, you could get up to $3,000 off, which is a pretty crazy deal if you're looking to go Nova and Zaxcom. Or if you're going to switch over to the camera link with any of the URXs, any combination of 5 URXs, you can get a free GUI bridge, which is super helpful in terms of all the control for your transmitters, for your URXs.
I'm particularly excited about the free GUI bridge. It makes everything controllable by a web page.
Yeah, from an iPad, from basically anything that's got a web page.
Yeah,
or
Wi-Fi,
web browser.
hardwired, across the world.
Across the world, exactly. And so this is good from holiday to holiday, Memorial Day, which is already passed, through the 4th of July, so July 7th.
Good. Sound Devices SuperNexus is now shipping, which is very exciting news. 19-inch rack mount, 32 channels, wide band. Because they have it over a wide band. Nick, how many different frequency bands within the 32?
So with the normal Nexus, narrowed to like a 124 megahertz block, but with the SuperNexus, so in addition to having 32 channels and a cape, it is expandable for up to 3 different 24 megahertz chunks. So you could have one up in 941, you could have one down in VHF, and you could have one right in the middle, or you could have 3 in the middle. So it gives you a more flexibility.
Yeah.
So not just more channels, more flexibility.
And native Dante out, and has integration with high-end front-of-house consoles.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And the OptoLink and all that stuff. It's some pretty cool stuff with the SuperNexus.
And you can start with 16 channels.
Yeah, it's upgradable, expandable.
That's right. And also new from Sound Devices, their firmware is now available for the 8 series. This is going to be 10.01. We finally have 32-bit float recording and daylight mode. So this is a huge deal. Also have SD remote on the iPad app, so you can now route the matrix freely as you'd like. So that's super, super nice to have. There's an updated manual, and then it's also very important to make sure you update your devices to version 9.99 before you do the 10.0 update. So we just want to make sure that you do that in order.
This is huge news with the 32-bit float because it's ISO recording only.
Yep.
So I think the idea is that you turn in the mix track to post in 24-bit. They don't have to change anything, but the sound editor will have access to the 32-bit float.
Yeah, and it does change how you record it. So the 32-bit float requires a little bit more processing power, so you're only recording it to 2 media instead of 3.
That's in the new menu. Yep.
Are you using this workflow? Will you take advantage of this workflow? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, I'm planning just for me. So I, every so often we'll do a reunion show.
It's the Housewives.
It's the Bravo Housewives, yeah. And I'm 100% planning to roll this as a backup to test out the workflow.
What kind of heads up, I assume you will give a heads up, to post-production will you give?
Yeah, so once I knew about version 10 coming out at NAB, the next show that I did was something I already thought about. And so I reached out to production, to reach out to post, to put a bug in the ear about doing this. And so once I have the next date confirmed, I'll do a test recording and send it to post to make sure that they can interact with it. And just to be clear, it's for me, for the first time using it, I've been rolling a Pix 970 or a 970 as the primary for a long time, so that will still be there rolling via Dante, but I'll be taking a separate output. The receivers I'm using have 2 different outputs, so I'll be taking a separate analog output into a Scorpio to record 32-bit.
If I understand it right, part of why you want to do this is the brand of the reunion shows is that the people get very excited suddenly,
They
unexpectedly.
get very excited. They go from very low, very calm to like, oh, I can't believe you did that, and and there's all sorts of screaming. So it just seems like it would give Post a lot of flexibility to redo things that maybe were too low or too high or however. And with auto mix and noise reduction and now 32-bit float recording, there really is it makes the job a lot easier.
We can do a whole show about, I mean, there are those that, all you have to do is type in 32-bit float into any of our groups that we're members of, and you will start a controversial post.
I'm so excited. Let's do it.
So
There's ongoing ones currently happening right now.
yes, the issue seems to me like, yes, obviously we could put outboard limiters on all of these inputs. But then you are affecting the isolated track in a way that could be much better handled by post-production in a controlled environment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a time and a place for everything, but having the option of 32-bit float is great. I mean, I think, you go back to, gosh, we're really riffing now, aren't we? But you go back to, not the invention, but the first use of multi-track recording on set, and the idea of like, oh, it used to be a mono mix on a Nagra, and then all of a sudden you've got 6 tracks on a PD6 or 4 tracks on a Diva, an original Diva. And, it used to be like it was just the mix track, and then all of a sudden you're giving Post the option of, well, here's a mix track and 5 ISOs that they can go back and remix. And so it's a very similar transition for giving Post options. They may want to use the mix track, and I remember when we were switching Law and Order over to the multi-track, the mix track was still the thing that they used. It was just, they had the options.
What it goes to the heart of is, what, as the production mixer, are you listening to?
Right.
You're listening to the mix track, you can control the dynamics of the mix track, but you can't also simultaneously control the dynamics of the isolated tracks in a way that won't permanently affect them.
Right. And you only have so many ears.
Yeah.
So TK, tell us.
There is an update for the 820 transmitters and the 820 minis as well. This will be for test and measurement mode, and allows you to essentially measure acoustical phase and frequency of their loudspeakers. And this will also apply for an update on the Nexus and Nexus Go.
Great option for live, obviously, front of house mixers.
Yeah.
We picked up a new vendor, the Concart.
More carts from all over the world.
Yes, this one comes from Italy. Right now, we are the only U.S. dealer. If you are interested, take a look on our website. Let us know. We'll get them in stock. Right now, they're special order, but very excited. They make a cart and a follow cart, and the follow cart is interesting because it collapses very small.
I like these. They look like they'd both fit in my 4-door sedan. So
that's a really great point. And that is the point of the follow cart, as far as I could see, is that you can travel with it.
Yeah. So there's a ton of new stuff from Radius. There's rad shock mount variants, dark gray hoops instead of blue, special clips for the MKH 50 and Shep CMC1L and CCM 41L. So just their Limo variants, as well as a camera shoe mount. There's Radius windshields in black, more Urchin Lav windshields. The Urchin, Mini Urchin, Puffer Urchin, and Puffer Whole Urchin. Gosh, please look up online which size is appropriate for you, because that is a lot of crazy information. There's replacement blimp wind covers for both Rycote, Sonella, and Rode. Mini wind covers for recorders, and they're available now. So shipping from the distributor in Connecticut, so reasonably short turnaround times.
Nice. Happy to see our friends at Radius expand their product line.
I wish I was wearing my Radius shirt. It's such a cool shirt. Darn.
Well done, Nick. Also available is Sonopan now at Gotham Sound. This is an acoustical paneling that you can install to your drywall. So any build out you're doing, you can use this stuff and cut it to spec. It comes available in sizes 2x4, which is shippable via UPS. So reach out for that. Further information available. They also have it in 4x4 panels and 4x8 panels. Again, this is the same size as your regular drywall panels. These are going to be starting at $21.50 per panel. The shipping cost does vary because this ships by a pallet. And if you need to see the amazing video that we did on this, check it out. It's on our YouTube channel via the AES NAB show.
I am reminded of the scene in Ace Ventura when he's opening and closing the door and going, oh, oh, oh.
One question, by the way, that came up at the Atlanta Mixer, does it have an MSDS safety data sheet? It does. And it's great stuff. I imagine it being used to quiet dimmer rooms and stuff like that. IDX released their SL-F30 Sony compatible battery. Very cool. It's a slim version of the NP battery. Cool for mix pre. You know, like if you have that dual mix pre Sony adapter doohickey that goes on the bottom. This will fit in the bag. You know, one on either side. I think it's great. $49, can't go wrong.
Yeah, also great for the 8 series. That little slim battery on the back, just as a backup. If you're using Electro L series battery sleds for some reason for mounting on camera, also very handy.
Low profile.
Low profile, absolutely. Viviana Lav Accessory Box that was shown at NAB is now shipping. So we've had some come in. I think we have some for stock, but they're available in orange and purple. It's a tri-fold. TK is busily putting together a little accessory kit that you can order as a bundle.
Put together based on the type of lavalier and mount you want to use.
And, Viviana's really, between this and the RF antenna saver, they're coming out with all these very little handy things that people love. So bravo.
Yeah, they have lots of solutions for sure.
Or maybe it's brava. Brava, I think, is Italian.
Very good. And I can't wait to see what they have cooking with ambient.
Also available is the Shure MOTIV Net Mix desktop app. This is going to replace their previous MOTIV Mix app. And yeah, this will now allow you to use 5 audio channels of USB wired mics. You can control everything with their DSP. They've got EQ, compression, limiter tone, a bunch of other options on there. There's a distance varying thing that you can set up. So depending on your particular setup, if you want to be close or if you want to be further away, it's very, very nice software. I implore you to check it out, especially if you're using any of the MOTIV stuff from Shure. It's very nice.
That's cool.
And you can use multiple USB mics with it, not just the Shure mics, but you can, multiple audio sources.
For podcasts and stuff? Like, neat.
BSRF has their single RF over fiber link. It's cute. We did a video with them at the Gotham Expo. Should check that out. It's a small RF BNC in to optical fiber out with a little 4-pin XLR for power. It really is sort of that idea of antenna on the mast, on a stand, and then fiber right from the antenna.
And it's 50 or 75 ohm BNC, so theoretically that would work for video as well.
Do SDI, yeah, that's cool. This
is TBA, TBD coming, but not available yet, so stay tuned for more information. So now shipping from Orca is the OR542 accessories cart, formerly the one-man band bag. It's a heavy-duty collapsible cart and trolley, integrated backpack system, available now in gray and yellow for $169. Not bad.
New from Hollyland is the Lark Max. This is now shipping. This is one of their new wireless audio systems with a very pinky-sized small transmitter with much, much longer battery life than the original Lark, as you may remember. This now has 30 hours of battery life. It's also got some pretty handy stuff. It's got a one-click noise cancellation. You can synchronize it, phone shutter control, so selfie time. It records at 48K, 24-bit, so there is no 32-bit on this. But you have, 300 meters of transmission range, so that should take care of you for just about anything.
Cool. Now shipping from Deity, the S-Mics. The S-Mic 3, the S-Mic 3S short shotgun, all available now, shipping from Deity at the time of recording.
Yamaha came out with their new firmware for the DM3 version 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
It did not have Dugan Auto Mix like we all were hoping it would have, but it does have patch input insert points,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. Great news. I believe we have news that you first broke
Oh,
from
yeah.
PSC.
So this is pretty cool. So if you, get in touch with Ron at PSC, the Yamaha DM3 takes 24 volts natively. So we've been talking about, how do we up convert from 12 volt to 24 volt and making all these like little external boxes and whatnot. So Ron from PSC, any of the PSC Power Star 4-pin sources, the Zeus, the Mini Zeus, the Power Star Life, the Traveler. So for like $350, if you're going to order one of those, you can have one of those outputs assigned to 24 volts natively. Obviously, label it. But that is pretty cool. Makes it nice and simple. And honestly, like with Ron giving it the stamp of approval, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
If you have a PSC product that you want to send back for an upgrade, you can either do that through our service department. Don't quote me on the price because that is for an upgrade and not for a new model. You can do it through our service department, service@gothamsound.com, or contact PSC directly.
And personally, I would rather have my conversion done in the PSC box.
Absolutely.
We're happy to sell a 12 to 24 volt DC to DC converter, and I think people should have that as a backup, but to have it natively in their power distribution.
That's a great point. Now shipping from Sennheiser is the MKH 8030. This is the figure 8 mic we've been waiting for. This thing is finally available. It's RF condenser microphone, and get it now if you were looking to add one of these to your kit.
Yeah, we've got a couple in stock, and if we're referencing how big they are, they're about the same size as TK's pinky. So there's a theme going on here.
Being the old guy, I would encourage everybody to look up the history of mid-side recording, Alan Blumlein. If you can get a hold of any of the Audio Development's manuals, they have a wonderful history of MS recording. But Alan Blumlein, really his contributions in the 1930s, he thought of this.
So the Soundcart Ninja is now available for pre-order. So it's about $1,171. Should be shipping this month. And if you want a cart that has a really cool name and potentially has the form factor that you're looking for, the Soundcart Ninja could be the cart for you. So check it out on gothamsound.com. It definitely is a slick-looking cart. And Matt Bacon is always coming up with new and great things. So brava.
What's the British equivalent of bravo?
Well done. Well done. Pip, pip.
Hollyland Mars price reduction. So the Mars is a video transmission system. The Mars 400S Pro 2 wireless video system went from $599 down to $549. And the 400S Pro 2 receiver only, if you want a second receiver, goes from $309 to $279.
And this is a pretty slick system. I used it on an Indie a little while ago, and the integration with cell phones and whatnot, it makes it very flexible. So.
And for a sound person, I think it's perfect for a sound cart, right? You just put the transmitter on Video Village.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool.
So this is a segment we like to do, the monthly tip of the month. So this one for me, it's an old one, but a good one that not everybody knows. So sometimes you get a slate back from camera department and they've written on it with Sharpie. And, most people think that Sharpies are permanent, but one way to get rid of the Sharpie is to take a dry erase marker and color over the Sharpie, and the chemical in the dry erase marker will actually remove the Sharpie from the slate face, and then you can just wipe it off with whatever you want. So as a dry erase marker is supposed to do, it erases dry and it removes the Sharpie as is.
I actually have one tip wrapped in another tip.
Okay.
So I was asked to record sound on a PSA. James Baker was helped me out. He was the boom operator. I was the mixer. I was lucky to have him. And it was for the Entertainment Community Fund. So first tip is, if you don't know what the Entertainment Community Fund is, you should definitely go check them out. We'll have the link below. They help anybody associated with the entertainment industry financially. So if you're going through hard times, you can apply for a grant, basically, through them. And so this was a PSA. There were some celebrities. We had to record, I guess it was 8 of them, in a studio on a Saturday. And this was one of those studios that wasn't, is like a typical studio where super noisy. And
typical studio.
Typical like New York studio. Not one of the newer ones, one of the older ones.
Right.
But anyways, heavens opened up in terms of rain, and we heard the like just an enormous noise over the microphone, boom microphone.
Mm-hmm.
They were all wired, but the boom microphone had such a good position, and I really wanted this to work, but the frequencies of the noise was such a broad band, and I really didn't think it would work. I just sort of crossed my fingers. I put in my mix the boom, but all of the tracks had the wires, the individual wireless. Anyways, later on, I was in a position to be able to hold on to the sound for a little bit, and I ran it through DaVinci Resolve's Dialogue Isolate plugin, and it was scary good at how well it removed the rain noise but kept the quality of the voice. And obviously there's some tweaking involved, but I really, the old me would have said, if all we had was a boom mic, this would be a looping situation. There's no way, because the frequencies of the noise are such a broad spectrum of frequencies. So my tip is, for a production mixer out there, explore these plugins. This one comes bundled as part of DaVinci Studio, which there is a cost if you buy it, but it does come free with a lot of their cameras. But there's tons of plugins. I'm not suggesting that people permanently turn in their tracks, but just in terms of education to know what's possible. I think it's a great option.
Yeah, I agree. So TK, what's your tip?
To be teachable. In the last 6 months, I've had the opportunity to see a lot of mixers, some with probably 30 years or at least of film experience, and a lot of them not from the Atlanta area, some of them from various parts of the country. And on more than a few occasions, people are coming in to talk to other mixers, young and old, and just relearn what they feel like they're not adequate in. And it just, it was nice to see people really humble themselves, and it just like showed to me that, just a reminder to always be teachable. If you need to learn something or relearn something, there's no harm in that. Just, reach out to somebody you feel confident in doing and get it done. So yeah, that's my tip for the month.
I love that. Somebody told me the moment you feel like you know it all, that's probably the moment you should get out. Nobody ever will get to that point.
Absolutely.
Feel like they're at that point. Well, look, I think it's about time we let this ship land, take off. I'm not sure where we are, but thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, TK. Thanks, Joe and Jared, our crew, and Nate. Thank you very much. Watch this video and more, gothamsound.tv. There's a ton of videos we've done between NAB and the Expo, the Gotham Expo. I want to give a special shout out to the video that I did with the production sound mixer of Ripley, Maurizio Argentieri. It was such a joy to talk to him, so please check that out. Follow us on social media. If you have ideas for live streams, any topic we should cover, 32-bit ISO recording.
Ooh.
Let us know, info@gothamsound.com. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
What the is the point of all this? This is insanity.
That's totally making the cut.
Yeah.